What ho, everybody! Ian here, and we're doing a little bit of an outside broadcast today for no other reason than it is gorgeous out here. So today we're going to talk tariffs. Yeah, I know, but Fortunio was affected by the tariffs, so I think I'm allowed to chime in just a little bit. But we are going to start with some talk about the new micro layout and beer. Yeah, I knew the beer would get your attention. Anyway, it all kind of like started last week. I'd been out for a early morning run and took the house key with me, and when I got back there was an email telling me that there was a package at the post office for me to collect. So I showered and went down to the post office, got the package out the mailbox, and then realized that I had left the house key at home. So I was locked out. Not to worry, the wife was on her way back from golf league, so I just sat in the park and read the books. Now, this park, up until not long ago, was an absolute rail centre of town. As you can see, this trail behind me here, that is the Dakota Rail Trail, and that was run by the Dakota Rail until it closed in about 2002. It's an old Great Northern line that runs from like Wayzata out to Hutchinson. So there were a lot of rail served industries here. Where I am now in this parking lot, this was where the depot was. The depot is now at the other end of town and is actually a liquor store, but that's another story. Then over here, where the gazebo is, there was a big grain elevator and warehouse there. So, and further down here, there were more grain elevators. In that, where that green car wash building is, there was a roller mill there. So there was a lot of that. And further down there to that big grey shed in the distance, that was another grain elevator. And further down to the west, to the east there, sorry, we have the premises of the original premises of Leicester Buildings, who made coal barns and machinery sheds and such like. And then this is that's the rail line. There was a fuel depot where that brown shed is. And then further down there in the distance is where the Farmers Cooperative warehouse is. All those buildings were rail served. So yeah, back in 1998, when I first moved to America, yeah, this line was still open, and short trains would come delivering to the farmers co-op warehouse at the far end of town. And as I was sat here leafing through James's books and thinking, I started to create my own little railway short line. And railway lines are absolutely key to the development of communities here in America. Why, if the railway line here, if that had gone just a few miles further south and passed through the community of Bergen, then Bergen would have probably developed into a small town like Leicester Prairie, and Leicester Prairie would have just become a loose collection of farmsteads. Railways were that important back in the 1880s. So I created this fictional railway line that ran from Watertown through Bergen and along west through several small communities that are nothing these days, all the way through to Montevideo, or Montevideo, depending on how you pronounce it around here. So, and I called this the Crow River and Western Railroad. As you know, I'm learning Welsh. And as I looked at the abbreviation of Crow River and Western Railroad, I thought, oh, hang on, isn't that Welsh for beer? So I'm thinking, wow, this is cool, isn't it? I could have beer written on the side of my locomotives and rolling stock as the reporting marks for the railway. Of course, I got home and I found out that Welsh for beer is actually cwrw, CWRW. But I was so fired up by the idea of a reporting mark that said beer that I tried to find a way to get cwrw to fit in with my short line name. And it was relatively easy. It became the Crow River Western Railway. That became cwrw. So now we have the Crow River and Western Railway. And so now on this fictional line, locomotives, rolling stock will have the reporting mark cwrw, beer. So, and that's all I needed to get fired up about this project that I built the box for that you saw last time. So let's head back into the basement and we'll look at the layout and we'll look at what we're planning for the future. Within minutes of the video going online last week, I was asked the question, how did you build that baseboard? So I thought the first thing I should do is talk about this construction of this baseboard. So it's all built from foam core board that is like 10mm cork faced foam core board for the base, and then regular foam core board. I just happen to use grey because that was actually what I had to hand. I used that for the walls. So, and it's just glued together with Titebond original wood glue. I just put the glue on the faces to be stuck together and then pinned them with T-pins, because the T-pins push through the foam very easily and that holds them in place. I just leave them for like 24 hours and there you go. A day later you have a very rigid, very light baseboard. That's all you need for a micro layout. I mean, these days locomotives and rolling stock are not made of tin plate and they are not heavy, clunking, great big things. So if you put this micro layout on a shelf, that's all the support it needs. So I had my run-in with my first, I hope it's the only run-in that I will have with the tariffs this weekend. Back in October, I placed an order for the Festiniog Railway curly roof brake van in Victorian Plum, made by Bachmann in 009. I ordered it through Rails of Sheffield, my preferred retailer in the UK for English stuff. And this item got put off and off. I thought it was going to be here by Christmas, but it never was, and got put off and off. And then on Saturday, I got an email from Rails of Sheffield saying that the item was now in stock, but it was subject to 145% tariff. And did I want to continue with the order? Well, of course not at that. So I had to cancel the order, unfortunately. And I do have a few other things on order with Rails, and it might be that I will have to cancel those too, and perhaps this will affect Fortunio getting it ready for the Micro Railway Cartel Christmas Challenge. So big disappointment, and I was kind of, as the situation with the tariffs started to evolve, I did wonder that if maybe I was going to circumvent the tariffs by ordering stuff from retailers in the UK, but clearly not. But yeah, big disappointment, and we'll have to see what happens in the future. Personally, I don't think the tariffs are going to last much longer. I'm just hopeful that when they get the situation between the US and China sorted out, then things for toys and models and stuff will be unaffected. So that's what I hope, and we will just see what happens. But I mean, I did try to put a positive spin on this. You know, if it doesn't, then we'll just have to go back to making things, won't we? You know, and that's not a bad thing in a way. I mean, I do have some drawings for the curly roof brake van. Admittedly, they're in 16mm scale, but I have drawings for the curly roof brake van, and maybe I could go and try and build one in 009. I don't know. You know, I've certainly built a load of things that I never ever thought that I would do. Even just in the past 12 months. I mean, I'm looking at the Fort Twinio station building there. I'm looking at the IMCO loader. I mean, I built so many things that I never thought were possible. And I certainly think that if things go on and if things get bad, then we should go back to learning the skills of making things. When life gives you lemons, you've got to make lemonade to a certain extent. And though I believe that this tariff situation could be over in like a matter of weeks, we also have to prepare for the long haul and get our rulers and our craft knives and our everything, and get our styrene and start cutting. So what I usually say is becoming more and more relevant. You know, build that model, lay that track, run that train, but above all, have fun. And we'll talk again next week. Who knows, by then this tariff situation will have probably gone away. See you then.